The Fallen's Fellowship awoke from the network, finding themselves within a clean but eerie waiting room lounge of sorts. They did not immediately acknowledge their peculiar situation, nor the Eladrin woman who addressed them, Dr. Evogen. But instead, they anxiously recounted their epic battle against Ferreira.
What in the fuck was up with that last scenario? Did anyone survive against the dragon?
Mimith and I survived. I got the final hit. But after turning into a husk, Ferreira rose again and attacked the cathedral. Things started to distort very strangely after that. Mimith, are you okay?
No, I am not okay. And I won't be okay until I save my mother. I don't know if we actually freed her or not.
I saw half of Tarth splat on the ground, and then the dragon grinded me into the wall. All I felt was pain!
Yeah, and the other half of me got eaten by her. It was a strange sensation.
Sounds like this dragon was splitting hairs, eh? Ha, I'm glad you're awake, young master, but you and your friends have a much bigger problem right now.
What bigger problem? Oh, yeah. Hey, lady, where the heck are we?
The entire time the party was talking, Evogen remained silent, simply taking notes on her observations.
On behalf of Baba Yaga, welcome to her cosmic clinic. Tarth, is it not true that you consented to receive treatment today?
Yeah, that's true. Though Yaga said she'd send one of her best birds to come get me. And, you don't look like a bird to me.
Bird is slang for woman, similar to chick, but bird has a more objectifying connotation. Yaga refers to all her hexen as birds.
Lux crossed her arms and lowered her eyes sharply at her fellow Eladrin.
Well, the rest of us certainly didn't consent to be here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just figured Tarth would feel more comfortable with his friends by his side. But if you rather him be left alone here with little old me, then I'm more than happy to send the rest of you back to where you were. So, how many shall I prepare a teleport for?
The party went quiet, as everyone shifted a little uncomfortably.
Interesting how quickly some can change their minds.
Excuse me, Dr. Evogen. Is there somewhere my friends and I could go to get some privacy for just a minute or two?
Unfortunately, all the walls have eyes and ears, and I have no control of that.
Oh, damn, okay. Then I'm just gonna stare at each of my friends really intensely for a couple minutes before we get started.
Sure, take your time.
All of you need to be careful and on your guard here, especially you, Lux and Mimith. Remember, her blood can turn you into a hexen. Do not be brash here. Look, I'm just gonna hear her out, kiss ass to stay on Yaga's good side, and maybe have a little cosmetic surgery if it seems safe enough.
Dr. Evogen kept a straight face and continued writing, as she read the surface thoughts of Tarth's mind.
My project NERT patient displays keen awareness of the level of danger that could befall he and his friends. Yet, despite being mass teleported to a highly magical clinic, the patient counterintuitively assumes I am not capable of a mere low-level mind-reading spell.
After Tarth finished his pointless extra effort, he consented to receive Baba Yaga's reward, getting his claws and his sense of pride back. Evogen led the Fallen's Fellowship to the clinical room, revealing now the very same declawing device Pthirus used on Tarth. It ominously sat there like a heavy weight, as dried blood kept some of the Harengan's fur disturbingly attached.
So, Tartholomew, how do you wish to do this? You can extract them yourself, but if you're the queasy type, then I or a friend can do it for you.
Sorry, I'm confused. What the heck are we doing here?
Beyond this door, Yaga opened a gate, and once you step into that room, it is molecularly 51% the realm of Infernus. A simple majority. Meaning, Pthirus can be killed. Both his claws and his life are yours for the taking. Once his claws are extracted, I can trim and sanitize them, so to surgically replace that which was taken from you. Any questions?
Yeah! How the heck did Baba Yaga find him so fast?
Something like this is probably a walk in the park for Baba Yaga. I don't know that we are capable of understanding just how powerful she is.
Her power at times has made even the gods quiver.
Wait, is that true, Renrev?
Yes. Because of that, many gods have long asked Yaga to worship them and join their court. and she has always rejected and maintained her anti-theism because she considers herself superior to us immortals. In some ways, she's right about that, yet in other ways, she's laughably wrong.
Well, Tarth, it's up to you, but I'm here to support you if you need me. This is my expertise, after all.
I would appreciate that, Thotham. It'd rest better on my soul knowing a cleric of Tyr sanctified this process. Like, we're not being unjust, right?
I am but a humble servant for the god of justice. That's his domain. You have both my blessing and my hammer to fuck this guy up.
Domains aren't even a real tangible thing. Us immortals have certain niches we prefer over others, but any of us immortals can tap into any other god's niche if we want, though it might piss each other off. But our titles are given to us by mortals, not the other way around. Mortals absolutely suck at keeping and understanding their own history, yet are often needlessly obsessed with categorizing everything in order to make sense of the chaos.
I'd rather embrace the chaos!
And I adore you much for that, young master.
I get that Pthirus deserves to die, but I guess my question is it bad to torture him? I know he did that to others, but you know the saying, an eye for an eye leaves the world blind?
This is claws for claws! Totally different!
We can't be standing around worrying about ethical qualms for every single evil thing we encounter, folks. Demons are inherently evil.
I sure hope that's true. It'd make things easier.
As the player party advanced inside the cavernous chamber where the air blistered with heat, molten rocks snaking across the floor, though a cooled path laid safely straight before them. A surgical slab of blackened steel, glowing faintly heated by the demon bound to it, was front and center, Pthirus writhing angrily against the chains as he laughed and glared at Tarth.
You are too dumb to still be alive. You've walked straight into a Hexen's den just to get needless revenge. You are stupidly impulsive.
Truthfully, I didn't come here to get revenge. I just came here because I wanted my claws back. I need to get back to my hobbies, man. I'm a proud tailor's son. But you know, since we both just so happen to be here, why not? So, Doc, how do I work this fucked up device?
Tarth asked as he took a puff of his pipe and blew smoke onto the demon's face. Evogen walked the Harangon through the steps as his friends watched his back and assured their support. As it pierced Pthirus, he began to kick on the table and seethe while clenching his fangs. For a moment, Tarth felt a little bit bad. He knew how painful this was. Thotham danced and cheered around the room ceremoniously in Tyr's name. That irritating Pthirus more than the torture did as he spat at the cleric.
You think your pathetic god is just... Where's the justice for the victims that Tyr never came for?
Thotham smiled wickedly while leaning in close to the demon.
Here now in the flesh.
Tarth continued to grind into the demon's claw, the corkscrew wrapping around the base of it from inside the demon's finger socket. Then the final step, as Tarth slammed the top lever down, it rapidly retracted the sharp screw, ripping not just the claw, but the first knuckle joint with a gross, wet crunch that ruptured the entry wound. Tarth repeated this process for each and every finger and 1 foot's worth of toes before handing the tray of extracted claws over to Dr. Evogen.
Sorry, dude, but I'm just a mere mortal. I know better than to question the god's design. I can't answer why they do what they do or don't do. Surely the god of justice has his noble reasons that are beyond what my mind can comprehend. And Thotham here is one of the best guys I ever had the pleasure of meeting and calling a friend, so I trust his judgment. So while Tyr is busy doing his personal best out there for our collective justice, it's our duty to lend our aid from down here.
It's up to us mortals to exercise our free will and use the radiant light Tyr provides us to help fight against the dark. Tarth, you'd make an excellent preacher.
Thank you. Maybe as a side gig someday for all the gods. Maybe I could try to inspire a little more cooperation between them all.
Daya's the best and only one worthy. No contest! You guys are making me want to puke, but I don't have any left after facing the dragon.
Guys, can you please stop preaching and kill this fuckhead already? Not just for Tarth's sake, but Omar's too.
Omar's psych, you say, stupid elf. Omar and I were happy. I did everything Omar asked, except embrace Tyr. I long accepted Omar would never let go of his faith. And despite that, Tyr punished Omar for it and weakened him. And even then, Omar still kept his faith strong while dying in my fucking arms. Mark my fucking words, Tyr broke Omar long before I ever did. And no matter how much Omar endured and how much despair I sowed to draw that fucking god's attention, Tyr never fucking came to save him.
Are you seriously trying to justify torturing and enslaving Omar for eternity when you could have just let him die in peace and made the most with your last bit of time together? Go fuck yourself, Pthirus.
I guess I underestimated just how petty the god of supposed justice could be.
Ha! That you did. But to be fair, that's true for all of our kind.
Omar was a big boy. He chose to sleep with the enemy. Actions have consequences. Nonetheless, we saved his Esper from you, and now by killing you, we will save plenty more. Sounds like the best outcome to me.
Wait, if we kill him, doesn't that mean he can harass Omar in Oblivion?
Mimith asked, as Dr. Evogen was nonchalantly observing the party as she finished shaving Pthirus's claws down to the size a herringon could tolerate.
No. The realms of Infernus and Angelus are already a special type of afterlife. There are a mix of natural-borns like Pthirus in those realms, and also special humanoid espers who were chosen by either Tyr or Asmodeus to continue their faithful service into death, respectively being transformed into an angel or devil. And when killed in their own realm, as you are doing, they are sent straight to Final Judgment.
Renrev, what the heck is Final Judgment? What happens there?
I only know that Final Judgment is when an Esper goes to face the God of Gods. She the Supreme. When that happens, it's all between you and her. What happens after is a mystery to even the rest of us immortals.
From here, the player party took turns beating Pthirus to a pulp, a bit gleeful in their endeavor, much to Dr. Evogen's pleasant surprise, until finally the mangled devil painfully exhaled Omar's name as his last spoken word. The party and Doctor now making their way back to the surgical room, as Tarth washed himself while Evogen sterilized the claws for surgery.
Excuse me, Doctor, but is there anything Tarth should be aware of in regards to risks of this operation?
At most, the claws will, to some unknown extent, increase the odds of Tarth fathering a tiefling. Otherwise, though, I expect him to adapt well and quickly to them, thanks to his royal mycorrhizae spores.
I got no problem with tieflings, but even if I did, I'm not concerned. Honestly, I've been through so much shit, I highly doubt I'm capable of having children at this damn point.
Evogen raised a high brow while shaving the fur off of Tarth's fingers, she then applying numbing gel while gauging his response.
Did something traumatically injure your reproductive parts?
No, I'm just overall fucked up, spored out, and keep almost dying. I got a creature in my chest, so I kinda just assume my sperm must be whack.
Clinically speaking, none of those things necessarily affect your virility.
Either way, while it'd be cool to raise a tiefling child, it's probably irresponsible for me to breed anyway.
Makes no fucking difference to Yaga, but I think the mycorrhizae queen would faint if she was here, listening to her precious Adam rebuking procreation.
Evogen, do you know or can you tell us anything about Tarth's experimentation?
Of course. I'm the one who did it after all. Tarth here was my biggest breakthrough as a scientist.
Lux casted a dark glare at Evogen from behind her back, clenching her fists but remaining quiet to let the witch talk.
I can't tell you everything, of course. My benefactor has set boundaries. But I'd love to talk about everything else since it is my life's work. That subject being evolution via mana-mitochondrial agitation.
Well, please, do go on and espouse Doc. I suppose I should be taking some pride in this accomplishment as well.
You certainly can. I believe Yaga already told you that you were the first survivor of over a couple thousand rare test subjects, of us taking mycorrhizae royal spores and inoculating into those with compatible mitochondria. Unfortunately, it turns out those who see golden apples from the nurt trees are far rarer than either of them expected.
If they are both super rare yet also uniquely compatible with the spores, then why the high kill count?
Project Nert has existed well before me. And I'm 91, so that's a long time to collect rare things. And even when a golden apple specimen was secured, The last obstacle is to successfully inoculate them. Each patient only gets one chance to adapt, and if they don't, then the royal spores get out of control and a violent takeover ensues.
What do you mean by takeover?
The royal spores are a nasty process.
Fungal tendrils burst out of the patient, and the skin melts off onto the floor, taking a sort of life of its own. It's chaotic and incoherent. Both the patient and the thing need to be urgently put down. That is the result of failed symbiosis. But lucky for you, Tarth, you adapted. And I must say, your condition is remarkable. Your spores have evolved again since the last time I saw you.
I gotta admit, the whole spore thing for a long time really spooked me, and I used to curse it. But it's gotten better for me. I feel more able to accept they're a part of who I am now, rather than some kind of foreign invader needing to be purged, you know?
That's good, considering it's impossible to decouple you from your spores.
Evogen said as she makes an incision with her scalpel up the side of Tarth's finger, quickly blotting the blood so that it does not obstruct her view as she fillets the limp tissue wide and levitates the sanitized claw into place before laying a thin sheet of gel over it, that which grew nerves and attached to Tarth's damaged small fiber blood vessels, bringing proper circulation back to them.
Yaga told Tarth that he wasn't the only survivor of the experimentations. Supposedly, there was 1.5 more than him. Is that something you can tell us about?
I can say a little about that while keeping vague. You see, the titled half specimen was my second patient to survive. And don't be mistaken, Survivor 2 was a complete success. Unfortunately, complications later from outside forces compromised development. That one wasn't useful to Yaga as Tarth here is anyhow, but all that work for nothing. I don't even know what's become of that one.
The player party pondered a moment. The details were indeed vague, but it sounded like the half-noted specimen was confirmed alive at least. Lux crossed her arms and prodded for more.
Okay, and what about the other survivor?
Evogen's posture shifted uncomfortably, her lip hooking up ever so slightly bitter. Her metaphorical mask permitted to loosen to make room for her deep-seated disgust.
I wish I could tell you about that one. In fact, I would pay a pretty platinum if someone would just tell me how that one came to be. But alas, Survivor number 3 wasn't brought by my hands. Yet some rookie managed to produce something superior.
Damn, Doc. Like someone came and stole your research right from underneath you, huh? I mean, obviously I'm biased since you are the one who worked on me. Guess I feel sorry for us both if that survivor is, better quality than me. That sucks. I hope you were at least acknowledged for your contributions.
This subject was a nasty sore spot for Evogen, as her mind relived her humiliation, bitterly ruminating over it.
That fucking devil of a man. Yaga had me groveling with my body for answers. Then he had the fucking audacity to laugh at me, saying he already learned that lesson from a different Eladrin. Ha! I hope someday I get the pleasure to wring that thief Akramon's neck myself. Or maybe I can ask Yaga to let me keep him as a pet. Nope, no credit for little old me. I even tried asking sweetly. But that's okay. There's always more to be discovered. After all, science never stops. So neither will I.
Well, Doc, like you helped me get some of my pride back, I hope you get yours back too and find yourself a new big breakthrough. And I'll try to better represent your accomplishment.
You're such a sweet bunny for something that just tortured a devil, but thank you, Tarth. I know Yaga was annoyed with you for not planting the seed, but that is what led her to discovering the network. So thanks to you, Tarth, new science awaits me.
So it sounds like you've never been to the network yourself, then?
Nope. And from your comrade's screams earlier, I guess I should count my blessings. Those abyssal folk can be so unpredictable. To maintain our way of life, it might be best to just reseal up those holes and stop them from crawling their way out.
Wait, by holes, do you mean like the one in Zombie U?
And also the ones in Maypline and East Cenerum?
The holes that are unleashing a bunch of crazy monsters everywhere!
Those holes lead to the friggin' abyss.
The Game Master in real life was taken back at the collective player's surprise as you all stared at her wide-eyed. The GM assumed that was obvious for a while now. Oops. Thus, here and now, Evogen canonically confirms.
Yes, activating a blood portal where the boundary between realms are most consistently thin, followed by overtaxing the mana within ley lines to force a rupture at that thinnest point. If the Fey Queens weren't so steadfast in armoring the boundary from their side of things, the Feywild would also have an easy connection. Thus, for now, it's just a massive hole that connects the Abyss and Central Commons. But the region all around the holes contains moving cracks in the surface ethereal that extends to all three realms, allowing rare occasions for things to unwittingly slip through.
And those regions, Evogen, I take it are often what ends up becoming a sanctioned quarantine zone.
For the most part. Quite annoying, actually. It gets more difficult to hunt for ideal specimens when the regions go into lockdown. But hey, that's what illusions are for. And as you know well, Tarth, so long as they consume the pretty magical fruit, the nert fungus, that guarantees they slip through the cracks.
So the monsters the MRP has long been dealing with isn't all or even mostly Fey then, but Abyssal. Everyone keeps mistaking one for the other because most don't know the Abyss exists.
But why do they want to climb out?
And why does no one seem to know or suspect the abyss?
From the few Abyssals I've spoken to, for those that can tolerate the sun, they are drawn to the very light that was stolen from them. Their ancestors had long thought the gods in other realms died, and that they, Abyssals, were the remaining survivors doomed to meet a slow, bitter, and confusing end. They had been isolated from the universe, cut off from the pantheon, and confusingly, trapped with the rotting body of a god. Only then to find out many millennia later, after finding their way back, that they were in fact discarded by the gods. Most simply accepted there was nothing to be done. Memory of their existence eventually lost to time, and turned into nothing more than a passing reference in the Forgotten Gods legend. But, surprise, they're back. They have been for a long while now. In hiding, of course, but already among us. And to put it lightly, they're not pleased.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be either. I feel sorry for them. But could we literally just go down there whenever? Bunny hop right into the abyss from Zahambu?
No, Tarth, you can't. Every member of the MRP who was tried, when they were lowered down, they ended up dead within an hour of trying to slowly descend. That's even with plenty of high-grade magical protection.
That's due to the Abyssal Miasma, also called grief energy. The deeper you go, the thicker it gets. It's concentrated putrid mana gassing off from the remains of the dead god at the bottom abyssal layer. The ley lines in the abyss are fueled by that miasma. So the further you get from the ley lines of our realm, the mana your Esper holds will gradually be replaced with miasma. And unlike the abyssals, we have not evolved to tolerate it, let alone wield it. Yet they can still use our mana.
Wait, wouldn't my connection to Zugg'Tmoy maybe allow me to survive the miasma?
More so than others. But it's been so long since you were freed from the abyss. You're welcome, by the way, that you'd certainly need to reacclimate again, or hard lean into my Corgi evolution.
Whoa, so I was in the abyss and not the Fae originally? Huh. Well, Yaga didn't help me till much later. I was saved from the abyss by Liclocleus, the leader of the centaurs. Oh, wait a minute. That must be why they could never find him. He slipped through the crack, and I followed his path back. Damn it.
Little does Tarth know that I was the one that led Liclocleus straight to him with the help of the nert fungus. 2 birds, 1 stone. That forced Zugg'Tmoy to disable Sylvania's summoner, while Yaga and I got our project back out from the Mycorgi Queen's grasp.
Now that you're all stitched up, Tarth, let's take an X-ray of your chest and discuss how to get YAGA'S property out of you.
Evogen repositioned Tarth's patient bed to lean him back, provided vests to the full party to protect from mana radiation. She snapped a picture and stared at it for a long dramatic pause.
Uh-oh, it's not good. You're in active danger.
Well, no shit.
Evogen held up the X-ray, revealing a chicken leg? The footed talon violently grasping at Tarth's heart, the leg itself rattling between two of his ribs, and a small vein wrapped around his chest.
Why the heck is the stick lady's son just a chicken leg?
First chicken nuggets for tails, now chicken legs for sons. What is the world coming to?
Shut up!
Redevelopment takes time. Mikhail will continue to grow, and as he does, he will unwittingly crush all of Tarth's insides.
But why is YAGA'S son a chicken?
Sorry, but that's not my story to tell.
Renrev, any help here? Surely you know the answer to this, right? We established before hags use hexen to give birth to new hags or reincarnate themselves, so is this just Yaga overly clingy referring to her pet chicken as her son?
No, Mikhail really is YAGA'S biological son from when before she turned into a hag. But because I am a man of principle, I shall not say any more than that.
Principle? What principle? Don't tell me you care about respecting the epically fucking evil hag.
What? No. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mr. Narrator, Yaga is indeed very amusing, but I give no fucks about respecting her boundaries or lack thereof. My young master, however, is of course a different story. Look, do you see how stimulated the party is by this? My young master's precious eyes right now are filled with a childlike wonder. Therefore, I must permit them the ability to pull the curtain themselves, rather than be an asshole and spoil it for them. That would be oh so boring. Thus, with their future amusement in mind, my lips are sealed.
I think it's more assholish of you to not warn them the details of an upcoming danger, Renrev. But whatever, I already know you're not going to listen to me. Moving on. With the entirety of the party skeptical but concerned for Tarth's well-being, Evogen presented a blood contract compiled by Baba Yaga. Everyone collectively pored over the details, anxious to find whatever the hag was trying to pull. Likewise, Evogen was gleaning everyone's surface thoughts.
I don't think this hexen horn the contract is offering is likely to help save V, unfortunately. Damn, is it worth the risk anyway?
Uh-oh. Baba Yaga, it seems Tarth has regained memory of his connection to Vernestra. Furthermore, he's aware she's your hexen.
Well, that better explains why Tarth was acting fucky with me. How in the hells did he find out, though?
I would push into their minds further, but they're so nervous about signing the contract, I worry doing so would firmly chase them out.
I know we weren't backstabbed. All my blood contracts that know about the princess remain intact, and ain't no way in fuck someone spying on me without me knowing it. So that leaves only divine intervention.
There's a tier worshipper whose aura seems favored, but he's not yet augmented. There is an augmented Dea worshipping brat, though. Strangely, that child's Esper is more draconic than it is goblin, but despite that, neither of them are capable of remarkable spellcasting, so I don't know what to think.
Huh. The snot-coloured kid did say he was a dragon, so he wasn't lying after all. It would be strangely out of character for Dea to attach herself with dragons, considering that's Tyr's favourite thing. Well, unless she just wanted to piss him off since he's too chicken to put a new summoner on the game board. No Bahamut means the dragons are having a free-for-all right now.
But I doubt the child would be responsible for divine intervention, though. Like I said, he's kind of, well, simple. His surface thoughts are just of being a dragon and breathing fire on a stick that has your face on it. Sorry.
Ha! Well, he can certainly fucking try. Perhaps we can arrange that, since I'd have to see him in the flesh to get a better read of what the fuck is going on with his Esper. But surely he's just a lousy augmented pawn. Dea's avatar has been on the game board for longer than that squirt has been alive. Like Tyr, she's too chicken to put a summoner down now that Action and Leviathan are disabled. And there's no way in hell that brat is her champion.
Unless she had a death wish. But no, definitely not.
Right, so we can safely assume the feisty kid is a silly augmented pawn and likely just serving as a metaphorical middle finger to Tyr. And you know what? I love that for Dea. You go, girl. But enough about the booger-hued kid and annoying sky gods. More importantly, have you confirmed yet if the Eladrin in Tarth's party, Lux, is who I think she is?
Yes, it's undoubtedly her. And she's quite the bitch. I'd like her so much more if she wasn't the fucking catalyst that led Acrimone to working for Zugg'Tmoy.
Ah, but imagine if Lux joined the Sisterhood. Perhaps it's fate that brought little Luthi back into my radar without me even trying. Whichever god unwittingly tied that thread, thank you for being a stupid cunt. I totally forgot about it, but I do need to fix that old mistake.
Yaga, if you don't mind my asking, do you think turning her Hexen might give us actual leverage against Acrimone? Like, do you know to what extent his care for Lux might be exploitable?
The main use for Lux I see is leverage against Tarthy's cute little bleeding heart. That being said, I have considered that same train of thought. From my perspective, Lux and Acrimone don't seem all that acquainted, but he is a strangely sentimental fellow. There aren't really any other good options to use against him, since both his and Luthi's mums croaked, and we obviously can't touch Dollface. For now, anyway. If little Luthi can get inside that devil's head, it'd be a big boon. It's certainly worth a shot. But like I said, she will be particularly tricky to possess, and that's not the priority right now. We need to see if we can get on their good side first.
Right. It's unfortunate their group found out about Vernestra. I don't want to come off too strong, but sadly, the claws didn't seem to do much in swaying them over into our favor.
Worry not, Evogen. Tarth does have a lot of pain, so his desperation is genuine at least. If they ask for a rain check or some stupid edits, that's okay too. There's plenty of options, so long as no bigger power players get involved. But I'll leave you to focus now. I got some things to look into with this new information. You may exercise your free will.
Evogen started to sip at a hot mug of tea while ruminating on Yaga's words. She patiently fantasizing getting revenge against the tiefling doctor. But, as the party had just about finished reading the contract, Lux now crossed her arms and stared sharply at Evogen.
Hey, what's up with this top part of the contract that says you'll be extracting atrial muscle from Tarth?
Evogen stiffened. The mug of tea now a convenient excuse for her to take a slow sip and hide her expression as she thought to herself.
This bitch. So she's the frustratingly perceptive type, huh? Of all the things to point out in the contract, that's the first thing she notices? Shit. Now what do I do?
Evogen remained quiet, trying to think of a fast excuse. There were deliberately many weird and obvious wordings added meant to be a distraction that she hoped they'd focus on and get the false sense of hope that they'd caught her. But Lux just fucking sniped the most important part to Yaga. Evogen's last prayer now came from Thotham as he spoke up and made an unwitting excuse for her.
I think that's just because it has to be extracted to get the talons out, right?
Mimith, Tarth, and GRIBBLE all concurred. That's what they all assumed when they read that part. And indeed, the contract was deliberately written so that it seemed simply logical. Yet, if it was a given, it wouldn't need to be stated now, would it? Evogen remained quiet, hoping the party mate's unwitting backup quelled her fellow Eladrin skepticism, but it didn't.
Well, Evogen, is it required? Can we take that part of the contract out and instead have it say you'll do only what needs to be done to remove Mikey from Tarth and nothing else?
Maintaining that part is required for us to proceed, regardless if it ends up necessary or not.
What the hell do you want with his heart muscle? Voodoo, cloning, or some other thing that'll hurt him?
Allow me to be more clear.
Your mistake was not doing that from the fucking start.
Enjoy that tongue while you can, little girl. You won't be talking so sharply once you're a Hexen. Firstly, Yaga opened a gate to Infernus, found and strapped a devil to a simple table like it was no big deal. If Yaga wanted Tarth hurt or dead, she would have done so already. Secondly, modern science is not capable of cloning. What we seek is Tarth's mitochondria. Mitochondria has a unique set of DNA independent from our own.
Ew, gross. I don't like that fun facts.
And within the heart muscle is where it's most concentrated and powerful, as there's about 5,000 mitochondria per cell. Tarth wouldn't even know or miss the sliver of atrial muscle taken, thanks to Yaga's powerful medicinal magic.
Evogen, you did everything but answer my main question. I'm going to ask one more time, more specifically. What is the goal of your research with Tarth's mitochondria? And can it be used to hurt him, or not?
I'm not allowed to speak about the specific goals of my research. But yes, technically, if this project was successful, it could hypothetically hurt him. But once again, so can't many things. Hurting Tarth is not our goal. It would be much more ideal if we could work together. And so long as Yaga gets what she wants, then we will have no reason to hurt Tarth. And remember, Tarth is actively right now at risk of life-threatening harm. Yaga wants her property back, and she could get it back whether Tarth is dead or alive. Whereas all of you stand to benefit from the many boons that come with being in Yaga's good graces.
Yeah, but the quiet part that you seem to be hinting at, Evogen, is that if we don't sign this contract, then you and Yaga do have a reason to come hurt us, right?
Evogen shrugged her shoulders, as if to coyly say, "Who knows?"
And we're all stuck here in a cosmic clinic, so if we refuse to sign...
Crap! Renrev, do you think we can take her on?
Maybe with Dea's help, but we don't want to risk such a close agent of Yaga's finding out about you yet, young master. Evogen is a very strong warlock, and would surely kill at least some, if not all of you in a fight. However, I don't get the feeling that she's looking to fight, even if you do reject.
She seems kinda determined to me.
Unfortunately, Hexen are hard to decipher what is their personal desire from what is their hag's desire. The fear of becoming controlled and the abuse that comes from being on their hag's bad side is usually enough to keep a Hexen compliant, even when not possessed. That being said, I know Yaga well enough that she wouldn't be bothering with all this nonsense to reach whatever her goal is, if a simpler path existed. Clearly, hurting you all would complicate some other priorities of hers. But we never know when that dynamic will change. And as soon as it does, Yaga will definitely act.
Sorry, but this is too complicated for me. I'm gonna sit this one out, leave it to them.
It is very wise to know when to put your head down and bow out, young master. You need not apologize, nor have any shame in that.
Evogen awaited the party's answer, everyone feeling conflicted at the variables. Tarth's anxiety made the pain in his chest sharpen.
Sorry, Doc, but I'm not feeling good right now after the past 24 hours of fucked up events. Can I meditate on this for a while alone in the other room?
Of course. Take your time. I'll just be getting the surgical area prepped for you in the meantime, so we can get started if and whenever you're ready.
Tarth left Evogen's range from being able to look into his mind as he tiredly made his way back to the lounge. Curling himself up stressed on the couch, overwhelmed by all the variables. His desire to save the princess, protect his friends, and stop being a tool seemed like a spiraling tunnel he was sinking further into, rather than pulling himself out of. As Tarth reflected on working against the Greater Mother under Yaga's contract, it inexplicably made him feel sick? A tug of war inside Tarth. On one hand, he fears the Mycorgi Queen. He despises what she did to Zombu and those loved ones she took away. Remembering flashes of the disgusting orange ooze she forced slathered onto his trembling form that filled him with dread and terror. Yet on the other side of the tugging rope, when Tarth musters the courage to look behind him in his mind's eye while running from memories, he starts to slow down and can see the Greater Mother's gaze filled with sympathy? As he recalls the bodies dropping around her at Zombu, she takes no joy in it. Unlike Yaga, who gleefully smirked as she rained down failed Harengon bodies to splat among the floor of his first nightmare with the hag. No, Tarth is certain that Zugg'Tmoy is nothing like that. She tries to be quick and decisive. The Mycorgi Queen seemingly cares to minimize the suffering she inflicts. Likewise, Yaga can't fucking help herself but to threaten Tarth through the undertones of her every word. Questioning the hag draws her anger and forces him to fearfully buckle in order to protect others. Zugg'Tmoy could have forced Tarth back under her hand, and the temptation to do so was palpably there at the Zombu massacre. But ultimately, she held herself back despite the prime opportunity. Unlike Yaga, now holding a blood contract over he and his friend's head, capitalizing on their vulnerable position like the opportunistic parasite she fucking is. The Mycorgi Queen has told Tarth that we're all up against a greater evil, and in her opinion, the ends do justify the means. Zugg'Tmoy has made a new world for us, the network. And she believes, as Tarth sees this world for what it is, that he will of his own choice come running back to her. The only ask the Mycorgi Queen has made of Tarth is that when he and the other Harengon named Eve inevitably meet, is to please judge her as her own individual, like he himself is. In time, fate will bring them together.
Eve, it'd be nice to meet someone else who can appreciate these spores. I used to be so afraid of them, but now they're beautiful to me. Salzarbad wouldn't exist without them. When I use this power to protect myself and others, I can feel the Greater Mother's pride in me. But is it wrong of me to take comfort in that?
Tarth gulped with guilt and hesitation. He has not dared to say out loud his shameful secret. He doesn't even understand it, even though he feels like he should. Like it's there, in the corner of his mind, but every time he turns to it, it suddenly moves elsewhere. Just barely outside his peripheral mental view. Until now. Here, on the couch of a powerful Hexen's cosmic clinic, Tarth's throbbing head between his tensed hands, with his knees tucked into his abdomen to stifle the nausea, our Harengon now speaks his truth for the first time out loud.
Greater Mother, I don't want to betray you. I don't know why, but I miss you.
And with a DC fucking 22 successfully met, suddenly, things start to move slower in the eye of Tarth's mind. A black vortex hums from behind and allows for him to see that thing that has always evaded him. A drifting red thread, slowly it unravels, forced into separation by fungal tendrils, crawling through the frays and taking it over from within. Tarth leapt up, floating like he was in space trying to reach for it. And as his new clawed hand seized the thread, gravity returned, and thus he fell like a falling star, soaring down through a black abyss and fast shooting through a layer of glass. Before reaching the bottom, a bundle of fraying threads began to twirl around and cocoon him, so to slow his descent, and then gently lowered Tarth to the dark, damp earthen floor that he could feel but not see. Within the humid, jet-black environment, a slow trickle of green dancing spores flickered in and out around Tarth, now gently illuminating the area and revealing the haunting beauty of the Mycorgi Queen's face. She was strange, but somehow nostalgic, and she was terrifying, but somehow comforting. Her translucent, titan-sized form regally emanated from the distant shadows. The Greater Mother, Zugg'Tmoy remained still and quiet, waiting for Tarth to speak first. And at the sight of her, he dropped to his knees and sobbed.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I just cried like that. I didn't think you'd actually answer me. I feel so guilty, yet so relieved.
The Greater Mother tensed her face conflictedly, shrinking herself slightly, unsure what to say to that, caught between instinct and calculation.
I accepted that you no longer trusted me, and that my chasing you was only pushing you further away. Yet now you have beckoned for me.
Why?
I don't fully understand it myself. I just miss you, and for some reason now I feel like I can trust you.
My child, you are made of the same royal spores as I am. Through the network's mycelium, our connection is at its most strong, and more so than any other, aside from my dear Eve. And we are here together.
You cannot lie to me.
Any more than I can lie to you. I know you don't trust me. I can feel the vibrations of your hesitance
And fear.
through the fibers of your network hyphae. As I hope you can feel through
Mine.
that I do not begrudge you for this fact.
With this, Tarth closed his eyes to find and feel out these vibrations. He could now perceive Zugg'Tmoy's nervousness of scaring him away, and her somber longing to restore what they once had, that she grieves how he seemingly can't remember. The Kitsukami could only defog the memories from realms its mana was capable of reaching. An entire decade of Tarth's life in the Abyss that he assumed was stuck in an oozy pod that dominated him. He realized now was not a complete history. But these memories had to have been taken from him before he sustained his traumatic brain injury, because he didn't remember the Abyss when he met V.
You're right, I'm sorry, I don't trust you yet, but if you can feel what I feel, then you can acknowledge that I want to trust you. I want you to convince me that everything that's happened can be explained. I don't want us to be enemies. Please acknowledge this.
Hearing that, Zugg'Tmoy's lip pursed wistfully. She did not expect Tarth to start coming around so soon. Neither did the Game Master, for that matter. It's been less than 3 months since Zugg'Tmoy coldly massacred those he cared for, right in front of him. Tarth could feel the Mycorgi Queen recall her frustration and hopeless resignation back at Zambu, and now, feeling her lingering melancholy about how to possibly make that massacre make sense to him.
I acknowledge your truth and am grateful for it. But again I ask you,
Why now?
Greater Mother, Baba Yaga has already perceived the network 3 times through me. There's this thing that's burrowed in my chest that she calls her son. I feel like it's killing me. She's making removal of it conditional on me working against you. For some reason, she wants a piece of my damn heart muscle. My friends would have to sign a blood contract alongside me, and I just am overwhelmed and don't know what to do. I am sick and tired of her toying with me and hurting people I care for.
Tarth could feel Zugg'Tmoy's emotions pass through phases of concern for him, concern for the network, disgust at Yaga, a desire for retribution, and then solemn calculation how that can't happen yet. But a wave of determined resoluteness hummed from the Mycorgi Queen as she wished to help her dear Adam at least understand just some of the potential power he holds within.
it seems you have reached the minimal spore density, that with the mitochondria of your atrial muscle could long fuel Baba Yaga's research, attempting to expand the Hexen curse. Currently, those with Y chromosomes are almost always immune to hexenology. Your mitochondria offers the most likely path for Yaga to break that barrier. This would substantially increase her influence
Over Gikarin's realms.
Oh fuck! So if she gets that, there's no stopping her! Heck, she could turn me into a Hexen then.
Life guarantees us nothing, my child. but best not to needlessly risk it. This is why I could not let you go and chased after you. I was trying to prevent this.
Is it true she's more powerful than you, Greater Mother? You really can't stop her!
Zugg'Tmoy faintly gave a nostalgic smile, recalling a bittersweet memory.
This is not the first time you have asked me that question. I cannot beat her yet, but I can get you out of this situation. That is, if you are willing to place your trust
In me.
How so? I don't want you getting hurt either, Greater Mother.
The Greater Mother narrowed her gaze to convey she understood the seriousness of what she was about to ask of him during their first mutual reunion.
Let me take over. I will get you all out of there and buy you time before your heart
Is under threat again.
If you and I demonstrate a united front, Yaga and her coven will be forced to retreat and recalculate. This relief will only be temporary, but I will make her answer
To me.
and we can figure out the rest later.
Together.
But do you know how I can eventually be safely rid of this thing in my chest for good? And isn't doing all this going to place you in danger?
Do not fret over me. Yaga still needs me. Our day of reckoning
Will come.
but at another time. If you remember Dr. Ackerman from Zombu, I trust him with your well-being. My child, this is the best I can do for you. Will you accept
My offer.
All right. I guess let's call this our first trust exercise.
A long, slinking mushroom craned out from the ground and sprang to tower over Tarth. It conjured a spore cap that bloomed with a purple, strobing bioluminescence. Then a smaller appendage sprouted from its stem, extending out towards Tarth as it produced a second fungal cap, this one bite-sized.
Take this.
And eat it.
This is from my body, which will take over yours. You can perceive everything, but you will have no control,
Until I release you.
which I will do once you and your cohorts are safe.
Tarth snapped the mushroom off, holding it in his hand as its spores left a bright purple glow between his fingers.
Fuck it!
Tarth said as he tossed the shroom up in the air, catching it in his mouth and barely chewed as he swallowed it down. Then, his blood started to pump hotly, blood pressure rising until his vision went black once again, until Tarth's eyes snapped open. Two pools of furious radioactive green illuminated his tense face, an army of large marble-sized orbs that pulsated manically all around his glorious form. He and the spores both stroked the lounge with an arrhythmic and malignant glow. As Tarth sat up, the spores autonomously swarmed into formation at his back into two halves. A flickering spotted mantle, a dual array that was a shield and a pair of wings. Each spore looked like the unstable ammo of an arcane cannon waiting for a mere thought to begin fucking rapid firing. As soon as Tarth stood, his feet hovered above the ground, him slowly stepping through the air, levitating with a dignified cadence. From underneath his drifting feet, the pristine white tiles of the cosmic clinic buckled and ruptured, a fungal garden erupting from the ruin as a necrotic bloom began to consume the walls as he hauntingly passed them by. The Greater Mother desired for her son to leave a lasting impression. She making it crystal fucking clear. Her dear Adam was no mere experiment to be toyed with. He is humanoid kind's first hybrid between two races that had no common ancestor nor realm. He is the abyssal prince of the Mycorgi, representing a new era of evolution. To disrespect the son of Zugg'Tmoy, queen of the Mycorgi, one of 9 overlords of the Abyss, and champion of Hekma. Such an act would not go unpunished. If respect needed to be earned, then so fucking be it. As Evogen could hear something approaching, she immediately turned on her mind reading and spun in her chair eagerly awaiting whatever mind game she needed to play. But as it became obvious, something was wrong. As the metal eerily twanged, bending around Tarth as he grew near, putting both the player party and Evogen nervously on edge. and when Tarth's radioactive aura hovered into view, Evogen's nose bled, her mind reading now forced to cease by Zugg'Tmoy. The Hexa now froze in shock as Tarth's friends went fearfully wide-eyed.
Ah, Evogen. Of course it's you.
Zugg'Tmoy! Wow, don't worry. I am able to get started on helping Adam right away.
No. This surgical task will be entrusted to Akramon. Hexen or not, I will rot you and this whole clinic back to Gikarin if you ever touch him again.
Despite being filled with fear, nonetheless, Evogen clenched her jaws angrily. Zugg'Tmoy knew what she was doing as she jabbed right into the Hexen's source of insecurity.
Please do pass along for me to Yaga. That thanks to your little stunt here, that Adam is under my wing and we are a united front. If Yaga wants her precious son back in one damn piece, she will need to renegotiate directly with me. Other than that, your only task, Evogen, is to safely and swiftly put Adam and his cohorts back where you found them. Any questions?
No questions.
Good. Didn't think so. Now get to it.
Evogen rushed up to get the teleport ready, slightly tripping on her heel but catching herself as she clambered out of the clinical area. Tarth's possessed body ominously floating behind her, though pausing a moment to glance back at the Fallen's fellowship.
Don't worry, he'll be back to himself soon. This is only temporary.
Well, that's good to hear at least.
Is that really Zugg'Tmoy? She just scared the crap out of me.
I too almost shit myself when her aura levitated into the room. We only just signed that blood contract with Heckma. Tread carefully, young master.
On the sort of bright side, at least we now know that Akramon can help Tarth.
I just hope that's truly the better option. But I got a bone to pick with that man before I let him touch Tarth.
Lux couldn't resist fast snagging a random potion in a unique glass bottle from the Hexen shelf before they arrived back at the lounge. A teleporting hexagram glowed as Tarth stepped into the center, surrounded by his confused, bug-eyed partymates. Evogen slammed her hand on a casting rune that zapped them away back to where they were. And now that they were gone, Evogen collapsed to the floor in a cold sweat as she miserably buried her face into her hands.
Fuck! And I was so close! Shit. What is Yaga gonna do to me?
Evogen looked around the clinic horrified and overwhelmed by the mess. She wrapping her arms around herself, uncomfortable at the sight of the filth. Now scratching at her skin, anxiously desperate for some form of relief or comfort.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm one of Yaga's best. I couldn't have predicted that. I will make up for it. I must make up for it. It's not fucking fair that I can't even touch my own miracle of science. But
Evogen's eyes widened as her smile twisted dementedly. She now more eagerly dug her nails into herself. Deeper and deeper, her plum-colored Hexen blood gradually pooling to stain her white lab coat.
But the rest of them are fair game. I hope when Akramon pays them a visit, that he and little Luthi have a warm reunion. Enjoy it while you two can, because your days are numbered. Sorry, Dollface, but you're better off as an orphan anyway.
Back to the Fallen's Fellowship, who now returned to the middle of the desert, safe and sound. No Hexen in sight, as Zugg'Tmoy gave her parting words.
I know you have no reason to trust me. Nonetheless, my spores will protect his heart in the meantime. But as the creature grows,
that eventually won't make a difference.
When we're ready, Acrimon will help him, but it will take us some time. I ask that if at all possible,
please,
try to keep an open mind. Things aren't as simple as they seem, and you will someday see that for yourself. Thank you for caring for my son, and may the network get better for you.
Farewell.
Seems like Milady Dea isn't the only one stretching the rules. Heckma, what in the hells are you up to? Never have you been so amusing.
The glow of Tarth's eyes faded, returning to his warm, honeyed gaze. The spores surrounding him took to the wind as our Harengon dropped to his knees and clenched at his chest. Attuning back into his own spores, he could sense a fungus had grown, lifting the talons of Yaga's son and acting as a protective cushion between the claws and his heart.
Tarth, please tell me that you're back to normal and you're okay?
Yeah, I'm exhausted as fuck, but between my new claws and Zugg'Tmoy helping shield my heart, I actually haven't felt this good in a long time.
I really don't know what to make of all or what just happened. Zugg'Tmoy seriously just possessed you, Tarth.
To be clear, Zugg'Tmoy didn't just ruthlessly dominate me. The Greater Mother offered, and I accepted. I know how this sounds, I get it. I was worried for all of us, but I believe her when she says there's more to all this than meets the eye. Regardless of how true that is or not, I believe she's likely our only choice to stop Yaga's plans, and save V along with all the other Hexen. There's no way Yaga won't come back for us at some point. We need Zugg'Tmoy on our side, that much seems obvious now. Yaga is the threat here, not her.
Tarth, I know we might be stuck in some ways connecting with she and Acrimon to help your heart, but we can't lose sight of the fact people who we vowed to get justice for.
I know. I hear you. Look. Yaga was only a signature away from using my heart to make the Hexen curse capable of infecting far more people. Zugg'Tmoy wanted to prevent that. She doesn't want people hurt, it's more like, for some reason, she has to do it. I don't know what the Greater Mother's angle is yet, but I know she does not align with that fucking hag, despite whatever work they've done together. Maybe she's trapped too, I don't know.
Guys, maybe we should all discuss this after sitting on it for a bit. We're all tired and still got work to do.
The Fallen's fellowship concurred and pensively continued their journey back to Tequila. They found themselves the cozy Cactus Hotel. And before the big wedding day, Tarth eagerly visited his friend Sari of Sari's Silk Touch, and got started on remaking Thotham's underwear since the ones he made back in Zombu were too big. Tarth aims to double-line this version so the player party's stored gear doesn't reek as much of Goliath ass. Elsewhere, Mimith went to visit Osman, Leah, and Ferreira. The groom was not doing well, though she helped perk him up with a beautiful portrait of the trio, as they immediately ran to find a frame for it. Only then for Mimith to re-terrify poor Osman by very abruptly bringing up seeing her dead father in the mirror of the boutique the other day.
Please don't tell me he's the type of dad that's gonna haunt our fake wedding and threaten to kill me.
No, he's great. He wouldn't do that. It was a strange and dark situation, but it was nice to see him despite the tension of everything else.
The trio did not know what to make of that, as they lacked the greater context, so weren't sure to smile cheerfully or offer sympathies. So they gave awkward half-smile, half-frowns, but as Mimith later went to take her leave, Leah escorted her out and asked to speak alone for a moment.
Mimith, I'm sorry to ask this, and to be clear, I'm not like fuming or anything like that, but I do want to gain some understanding. I heard that during the family dinner, you at one point sided with Osman's racist grandparents against him about cutting me off from being the wedding officiant. To be honest, that really hurt to hear. And it stunned Ferreira too, because you had just told her a few days before, right after the scorpion fight, about how much racism against tieflings bothers you, and how you wish the world was better. But the world can't get better for people like Osman and I if you passively accept us being thrown under the carriage. I know you fixed it after the fact. Thank you for that. But can I please ask why you initially did that?
Mimith shrunk into herself, her tail drooping as she began nervously swaying, feeling a deep sense of remorse.
I'm really sorry, Leah. It's just that I don't have my parents with me anymore, and never got to enjoy grandparents. I've always wondered what a complete family would be like, and that clouded my judgment.
Leah's head jerked, confused, and now a bit agitated. To her, it felt as if Mimith just turned around and made herself the sympathetic victim in this scenario, even though that wasn't Mimith's intent.
Like I said, I did hear how you helped turn it back around after, and I am glad that you did. And I'm sorry you have felt the pain of not having a complete family. Same here, girl. But I asked you for your reason in siding against Osman, not Minami's, the character's reason.
Minami is just a character, but Leah, that is also my real reason.
But Mimith, that doesn't make any sense. Unless you had a crush on Osman and really thought they could be your real family.
Mimith blushed and fell silent as Leah's jaw dropped.
Oh my god. Wow. I don't know what to say. On one hand, Osman doesn't see himself as lovable. So thank you for proving that wrong, I guess. But on the other hand, Mimith, you don't get closer to someone by siding with the racist grandparents they are trying to escape from just for your own wish fulfillment.
You're right, I'm so sorry, it won't happen again. I do want to become a better ally. I have never been in that situation before, and had experienced a lot of crap leading up to that. I wasn't thinking clearly, but there's no excuse though. I'm so sorry, Leah. I care about you all a lot.
Thank you, Mimith. I do appreciate that. And I'm sorry you're going through a lot. You're still so young at just 19, so there's always room to learn. We all make mistakes. But the other thing is, we are moving to another country and starting that long, perilous journey immediately after the wedding. This is, and always was, just a job. Are you going to be okay doing this wedding, knowing that it's going to be abrupt goodbyes after?
I accept that. I just can't help how I feel. Osman is kind and he's comforting to be around. He's been through so much, yet still has a positive attitude. I definitely didn't intend to ask him to change his mind about leaving. I just feel like of all our mission clients so far, we've gotten closest to you guys, so I'm going to miss you all.
Aw, Mimith, you're a really sweet gal. But you still got a lot to learn about yourself. I'm not the same person I was when I was 19, but I do feel confident we'll see you all again at some point. I asked the goddess of luck to place those odds in our favor so that we can have the opportunity to properly pay you all back. We're well aware you guys have gone above and beyond. We feel terrible about that.
There's no need to feel bad about that. It's just what we do. We mess up a bunch and then overachieve. But Leah, I'm sorry to ask this. Could you tell Osman that I really care about him?
I think that's best coming from you rather than me. But if words are difficult, I know one heck of a painter who can probably put your feelings to a picture. And she just so happens to be standing right in front of me. But anyway, I look forward to meeting this commander of yours. Take care and have a good night, Mimith. We're all gonna need it.
And And as the next day came, Lux started the morning attempting to confront Gribble about Renrev, the boy anxiously dodging her questions as he ran away to speak to his immortal friend in private.
Renrev! Lux is getting really suspicious about you.
Yeah, I can see that. Perceptiveness is quite the double-edged sword, isn't it?
No, you don't understand! This is serious! She was giving me the look!
What look do you mean?
This scary mom look!
Oh, how absolutely dreadful.
What do I do, Renrev? I can't take it. I'm starting to feel really, really bad!
Worry not, young master. If you're feeling guilty about hiding things from her, just leave it to me.
Okay, how so? What's the plan?
It's simple. If she or others start getting too pushy, just hand me over to them and assert your boundary. Tell them it's between me and them, and that you refuse to be put in the middle. Frankly, it's the truth. You don't want to expose yourself or them to danger by revealing me just yet, and you don't want to lie to them either. So blame me. I will gladly be your shield, young master.
But Renrev, what are you gonna do if I hand you over to them?
Gaslight them and go limp. I mean, unless they have an amusing inquiry, in that case I'll engage with full honesty. But they won't understand a damn word of it. It'll just be incoherent, clicky-clacky sounds. And you, young master, will refuse to translate because that's breaking your boundary. But as for Lux specifically, remember, you can always counterattack the scary mum face with the tearful, heartbroken child face.
Okay, deal. We'll give it a try. Sorry, Lux, but I'm doing this for your safety.
After that, the Fallen's Fellowship made their way to the Trickle-Down Tavern to pick up Tawiddi, who gave she and Gribble adorable matching dog collars that she stole from Aravi's sock pouch but decorated them with flame-colored roses. Next, the party had a most unsavory and needlessly dramatic encounter with the Era Kakra, Jan Paliwski, losing his favorite Adventurers League card to Orixian before the party and guests finally arrived to face their client's door within Pyra's paradise.
Ain't no way in fuck y'all are going to convince me.
Mimith now horrifically recalling the detail that the commander always arrives exactly 75 minutes early to anything scheduled. She now bolted inside to see the ladies cornering the commander as he seethed, him maintaining a defensive stance against the women.
Mimith, thank gods! Please tell Luke that his stained MRP uniform is not suitable attire for your wedding!
I don't see why the fuck it's not.
Look, there isn't enough time to get his awful uniform cleaned of the perma-stains from blood, sweat, and monster guts. Pyra's Paradise offers rented tuxedos, and they thankfully sorta had his size. This is the only realistic last-minute option.
I told you the conditions if I came to this con show. Is that I'm being me? Tuxedos are not me. They are too restrictive and not durable whatso-fucking-ever. My uniform is freshly cleaned. It's just a bit beat up. What matters is I don't fucking smell bad.
Tarth dutifully marched forward and took a deep sniff of the commander's armpits.
Can confirm. He smells like smoked cinnamon with sage overtones. That is a handsome-smelling cologne, sir.
I'm thankfully socialized just enough to know that no one wants to smell swamp ass and putrid pits.
I was there, Mimith. You did make a promise to him. He said no damn complaints, and you agreed.
Thank you, lady.
But I don't agree this has anything to do with that. Showing up as oneself doesn't mean you can't show up appropriately dressed for the occasion.
Thank you, Thotham.
Everyone else put their hands up and took a firm step back, stating it wasn't their business. All eyes on Mimith now.
Please, Commander. I think you'd look very handsome in a suit.
But I can't fucking fight in a suit.
You won't need to fight. This is a wedding, not the battlefield. Please, Commander. My father would have worn the suit.
Oh, fuck me. Dirty move, kid. Fine. But I won't be lifting a damn finger if action happens.
With smug grins, Leah and Hiraya roughly shoved the commander into the bathroom with the suit.
Yay, we win! Now everyone needs to get dazzled up and ready. Well, except you, Mimith. You will be getting ready at the chapel. Leah and Lux will be there to help you.
Osman is already at the chapel. After all, we can't have him see the bride on their wedding day. Once you arrive, Thotham, since you're the groom's best man, you'll be needing to help make sure he's on schedule and such.
I'm sure I can manage that much.
By the way, Leah, is Osman doing better today? He really worried me yesterday.
To be honest, Mimith, he's even worse today, and I'm really nervous about that. But I got a lot to take care of, so can't worry about him right now. Speaking of which, hi. Who might these two be? Oh, wait. We met you guys at the pie eating contest, right? Wow. A lot has happened since then.
Leah said, referring to the half-elven man and adorable gnomish girl as they beamed friendly smiles at her.
Yes, you did. This scoundrel here is my date for the wedding. I have full confidence that his performance skills will be of help.
Nice to see you again, Miss Leah and Ferreira. Today I'll be going by Rex. My cover story is an heir to a vineyard whose soil holds a graveyard of past victims that my family exploited generations ago, of which the 6 tricks here, alongside me of course, help purge the acres of ghosts, ghouls and wraiths from. I enable Mira's alcohol addiction for my own sick gain, and after miraculously distracting her some sweet nights from being rejected by Minami, I've since officially become Mira's darkly possessive lover. It was ultimately Minami that pushed for us to be official, since she could tell we're a similar flavor of fucking psychotic, and she herself doesn't like Mira pining over her. Therefore, Rex forgives the bride for attracting Mira's attention away from himself, whereas anyone else would probably get stabbed.
Well, that's an interesting choice for a backstory. I'm definitely pro-drama, if you can pull it off convincingly. Whatever keeps the family distracted and amused from trying to suss us all out, or start spouting off their racist bullshit.
Credit to Tawiddi. She helped me write the character with a smidge of truth from my background to make it easier on me. It was quite helpful since I can only tolerate playing the role of a cuck if I'm acting as an intolerant cuck.
With a very high perception check, Lux took notice that Renrev, the homunculus, and Momo the mouse were seemingly focused on each other and making seemingly small conversational gestures at each other.
Miss Momo, respectfully, this story has your little paws all over it. There's no way the sweet and wholesome Tawiddi came up with that.
Aw, you already know us so well, Renrev. Truly a man with a strong attention to detail. But I don't mind giving my bestie the credit, for in time I shall corrupt Tawiddi with all my favorite books. And she too will be a connoisseur of dark romance.
You do you, Miss Momo, no judgment here. But please don't go out of your way to corrupt poor Tawiddi. That'll just complicate things.
And whatever could you mean by that, Renrev?
You know exactly what I mean. Let them be kids, please. You yourself shouldn't be so eager to grow up, Momo. Things only get harder from here. Especially for you God-chosen kiddos.
And this here is Tawiddi. She is a druid who's gonna play as my hyena girlfriend.
I shall act as the most adorable and sweet hyena there ever was. Unless and until Bonsai commands me to bite and or embrace being feral. Then no shoe shall be spared.
From there, all were paired off and left one by one in horse-drawn carriages to head to the chapel. The carriages all appear upper middle class. They are private, have white glazed wood adorned with velvet dark burgundy cushions that yielded softly beneath one's bum. A tiny window to watch the passing town through and a thick sliding privacy screen kept the cast and the driver optionally divided and out of earshot. We start with Mimith and Commander Luke's carriage, him carrying a Santa-sized sack with him lugging it out of the hotel. He eyes the inside skeptically, groans, and gets in awkwardly sitting across from Mimith.
You sure you don't regret inviting me yet?
No, you're the one I wanted here, Commander. I want us to have this bond time. It's been a long while, and I know you blame yourself for what happened to Papa, so I figured this would be a way you could pay it forward to him and find some relief.
Well, this just got fucking heavy out of nowhere. Can we please stop bringing Kriv up in abrupt and needlessly distressing ways, kid?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's just been on my mind a lot lately.
Now stressed and trying to avoid a PTSD episode, Luke opened the window and lit up a cigarette. Mimith has always hated his smoking, but accepted it was better to let him de-stress.
Yeah, me too, kid. But maybe right before big events isn't the right time, you know? And it helps to prepare people when you're about to drop something heavy like that. In the future, check first that it's okay and that the person you're talking to is ready and able to receive that, all right? But anyway, let's change the subject and quickly, please. I don't fucking know. Tell me one thing you like and dislike about each of your party mates, starting with Miss Piddlesquire's son.
Okay. I really like how determined Tarth is. He's always looking out for everyone and good at taking charge. I wish I was as fast-thinking as he can be at times, but I just wish he wasn't so experimental in some instances. And I'm also not sure if I should be discouraging his smoking or not.
No, you shouldn't. All right, what about the feisty squirt?
Gribble is very talented for a small kid and always keeps me on my toes, but I wish he wasn't so eager to set everything on fire.
What little boy isn't eager to set everything on fucking fire?
Well, for Gribble, it's to a degree that can be very problematic.
Okay, the solution to that is to save up some dough. Bribe a vendor to let you buy a few restricted scrolls of Fireball. Take the kid out in the middle of the fucking desert and let him go ham. Get it all out of his system, and trust me, he'll love you for it. But anyway, what about the big guy?
I guess if I ever get money, I'll test that theory. But as for Thotham, he's really nice and dependable. But I think similar to me, he can be quite socially clumsy. Like saying he's okay with killing kids or bluntly telling a friend that he should just kill his daughter in the network.
Excuse me? What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
But he means well. It always just comes out wrong or worse than he intends, which is also what I just now did, I think. I'm not wording it right to properly represent him. Never mind, forget I said anything like that.
Okay, the misunderstood serial child murder enthusiast aside, what about your Eladrin friend?
Luke narrowed his eyes now as he took a deep puff of his cigarette.
Lux is fast and sharp like a blade. I'm envious of her dexterity and fierce independence. On the downside, she can be really harsh. I feel like she takes it too far sometimes and can get needlessly abrasive with others when she jumps to bad assumptions. But it's tricky because sometimes her being that way is what ends up helping us. It's hard to explain.
Personally, I'd rather someone be too honest than less so. No one likes an asshole, of course. But do you trust her, Mimith? How confident are you that she's good-intentioned and not someone that's going to backstab you later for her own gain?
At different times, I've seen her put herself on the line for all of our sakes. Just this morning, she jumped in to look out for me when I was acting a bit naively by giving my money away to a greedy Aarakocra man. She had nothing to gain from that. She just instinctively wanted to do right by me. I do struggle to communicate with her more so than everyone else in our party, but I do trust her. I believe she cares about me, and I also care about her.
And I assume you all are well aware that she's the infamous Platinum Killer, am I right?
Oh shit. How did you find that out?
I have a list of missing people in Zombu to try and identify bodies of as we fend off the damn monsters. There was only one Eladrin in all of Zombu. I assume that detail you didn't know, eh?
Commander, please don't report her. I can explain. Yes, she killed that lady, but it's not what it seems.
Relax, kid. If you told me she's a piece of shit mooching off y'all, I would have offered to split the bag with you. Look, I say this shit all the time. I'm a monster hunter. That's it. I give no fucks about looters. And no fucks about the Platinum Killer, except how she acts towards you. Otherwise, she's the cop's problem, not mine. I just hope you guys have your ways to keep each other safe when that comes back to bite her in the ass.
We'll figure it out. None of us would leave each other behind at this point. We have been through too much together.
And now a whole wedding together. Guess they are your own little found family now, eh? Good for you, kid. Lux's secret is safe with Pristy, Walnut, and I. Even though the broad she dropped was of the lowest detached rung of them, no one likes the Sliverfells anyway.
Is it just because they are very rich?
Sort of. More specifically, that family's wealth comes mostly from pharmaceuticals. When you make life-saving medicine needlessly cost life-ending amounts, you don't tend to have many fans.
Ironically, Gikarine's death had nothing to do with that.
Maybe this time it didn't, but now that she's been resurrected, who knows what next time holds. Huh, sorry, dark humor.
The bride and commander arrived at the chapel, as we now move on to our next carriage. Orixian allowing Lux inside first before popping his head in and boyishly peering around.
Well, this sure beats being in a death boat, eh, Lux? Far from the best ride I've ever had, but it's alright.
Honestly, I don't mind the death boats. They're more my aesthetic than this is.
I guess I can just appreciate a change of scenery. But small talk aside, quick reminder, darling. Since I'm playing a villainous bastard, our old safe word was sweetheart. Especially good to keep that in mind with you looking, well, the way you do right now.
Oh, this? It's just a little treat with you in mind. But I'm glad we have a moment to talk again, Orixian. I wanted to apologize for not treating your desire to confront Momo and Renrev more seriously the other day. I noticed those two seemed to stare at each other intensely earlier. It was strange. Maybe they were mentally communicating. I want you to know that I have started to put more pressure on Gribble to open up to me, but no luck yet.
Oh, no need to apologize for that. I was happy just to be believed. On that note, though, maybe we would have better luck if we changed our approach. Like, Gribble is used to you and Tawiddi is used to me, right? But they might respond differently if at this wedding we attempt to catch them off guard with a switcheroo. Maybe during the intermission where Tawiddi has to drop her wild shape, we could make our move then.
Interesting idea. Yeah, we can try that. Just, better to plan something with me, rather than attempt something reckless alone. We don't really know what we're dealing with. Better safe than sorry.
Oh, me? Reckless? Never. Ha ha. We'll just go ahead and call that secret thing Plan B, if we get nowhere with the kiddos. But speaking of the other day, Lux, I'd also like to ask about why you seem so shelled up. Don't bother denying it, I could tell you were nervous. Have your dives to Oblivion been giving you a hard time?
Lux looked down at her feet, debating on sharing. The last visit to Oblivion had been bothering her pretty deeply, and she didn't want that souring her performance today. So with Orixian calling her out, she let herself be vulnerable.
My blood, Esper, is my father. And when we first reunited in Oblivion, it was wonderful. I felt like I rekindled a lost part of me that carried so much warmth. It turns out my mother is ignoring him in Oblivion, which has left him stuck, longing for the old her. And that's put me in a tight spot with him.
Oh, shit. I wondered about that for you. Strange though, no? From what you've told me about Lilith, I wouldn't have ever guessed she'd be avoiding him in death. Perhaps shame? That is, if she's capable of that. On one hand, I would have hoped that makes a good opportunity to let you two just be close, without having to worry about that wretched woman's interference. But sounds like that's not the case then. So, is it that you haven't told him, or you did and he didn't take that well?
I tried to open up to him a little bit, but I barely could get a word in before he started listing off explanations for how she treated me. He claimed he wasn't trying to justify her actions, but without knowing any of the details, he ran to blame himself? Which, I guess I appreciate him trying to take some accountability, but...
But he should not be spouting off explanations for things he doesn't even know about. That puts the pressure on you to accept his made-up version over your own lived one? And how are you supposed to feel comfy opening up to him, where any word against his would come off as uncharitable? But more importantly, why was his first inclination to do that, and not instead making sure you're okay from what you went through because of that woman? I'm sorry, darling.
Lux exhaled in relief. Finally, she felt understood. Clearly, this is something Orixian has also been through before.
Right, exactly. I mean, I know he means well. I guess I don't know him as well as I thought I did. And now I feel avoidant about seeing him. I can't pretend I'm not bothered by that, you know? But I don't know how to confront him about it either. Or if I should even bother. In general, I don't go to Oblivion as much as I would like to, out of fear of seeing her.
Yeah, that's a damn messy situation, darling. I wish you could enjoy Oblivion more. Surprisingly, it's kinda nice to have a death boat buddy, rather than getting stuck with random edgy weirdos. Unfortunately, I got nothing reassuring to say. Well, except the fact I believe you. And hey, at least I got no reason to defend Lilith. Your father's sniffing too much bone crack. Fuck that witch. If you find her death door, let me know. I can cash in a few favors with Demetrius he owes me after all.
Well, I am grateful for your offer and will keep that in mind. For now, I just hope I don't see her. But thank you, Orixian. I certainly feel better than I did. And how have your dives been?
Always complicated, but it's fine. I'm long used to it by now. Oh, on that note, I found the doors to my old friend Jarvis. And that pervy old goon Pippet.
Oh God, how did that go?
Welp, the first thing he said was dicks out or bust. Then he was trying to convince me to work for him as an assassin carrying out his hit list. He said if I showed evidence of my successful kills that he'd sign a declaration to alert all his living followers in the Tit Society to accept me as their new leader of the free world.
Well, are you gonna do it? If not, I might be interested depending on the details.
Well, you see, Lux, the top priority of the hit list is described as a middle-aged, well-tailored, brown and white Harangan who smokes pink dust and can't mind his own fucking business. Do you happen to know a fellow like that?
Oh, indeed I do.
Oh, how convenient. You don't happen to care about him at all, do you?
Surprisingly, yes. Yes, I do.
Well, that's a damn shame. Guess neither of us can sadly be the next leader of the Tits cult.
Most unfortunate. Frankly, being a cult leader sounds like it'd be fun. But jokes aside, Orixian, I do kind of feel bad. Do you have anything bothering you that you need to vent off?
Orixian eyed Lux's sultry attire over slowly and casted a wicked but playful smirk as he held his face contemplatively.
Don't feel bad, darling, but yes, actually I am bothered. Your outfit is infuriating. The way it hugs your every curve makes me want to fly into a jealous rage, rip it off of you and swiftly take its place.
Well, that makes two of us. Seriously, how am I supposed to pretend to be mooning over Minami and rejecting you all night, with you being so distractingly handsome in that getup?
With a mischievous glint across his face, Orixian repositioned himself to sit at the very edge of his seat as he leaned forward, fast reaching out to hook his hand underneath Lux's chin, softly stroking her bottom lip with his thumb as he gently pulled her towards him.
I'm not sure, darling, but I don't think there's any rule against releasing just a little tension to help ease our mutual pressure, is there?
Lux allowed herself to be pulled in towards him and leaned in even further as she teasingly held her breath and bit her lip while gazing at his, allowing for but a moment of expectation to build up before she wistfully stated,
If there was, I've never cared for rules anyway. But I think maybe it'll help you get into character if you stay pent up a bit longer.
She gave him a saucy kiss on the cheek before abruptly pulling away, now folding her arms across her chest, playfully smirking in her seat, smugly self-satisfied, as a flustered Orixian just pathetically hung there a moment with a funny, frustrated twitch in his eyebrow. Then he sighed and playfully mimicked her, crossing his arms and leaning back with a feigned, unbothered shrug.
I was just going to show you a neat trick that could only be done in a carriage, but suit yourself, darling. Though you should be careful what you wish for.
After failing a charisma check outside of the game, this statement bothered Lux. She's a slut, so surely she should know what this carriage trick is. Yet she doesn't, and she can tell he's being truthful that this trick does exist. He has somehow outslutted her. But he has not outsmarted her, as Lux had passed her insight check to glean his intentions. This bastard wasn't looking to release any pressure. The lying scoundrel wanted to drive her up the carriage wall, begging with whatever this trick is. Thus, Lux pulled an Uno reverse card on him, much to his disappointment.
So, Lux, would it be cute or an asshole move of me to blame my behavior just now on your outfit?
Definitely cute. I picked this outfit with that intention in mind, so I'd be hurt if you didn't behave that way.
Ha! I'm not sure if I should be ashamed of being so predictable, or pleased that you know me so well. Looks like today will be a fun little game of who can outlast the other.
Looks like I'm winning with a solid head start.
I begrudgingly concede the first round to you, darling, but don't count me out yet.
The roguish duo made it to the chapel and strutted inside. We now moved to Gribble and Friend's carriage. The boy growled at the horses before getting inside. And after about a minute or so of galloping, the mouse from Tawiddi's shoulder dropped her wild shape, revealing a teenaged tiefling girl.
Salutations, Champion Gribble! My name is Momo, and I'm the avatar of Sylvania. Nice to meet you, partner.
The spicy young girl offered a handshake to Gribble before roughly clasping his hand like a shark snapping on its prey, a fire in her eye and a menacing smile refusing to let him go.
Just so you know, I plan to flip the wild card away from you today. And if I succeed, there won't be any hard feelings, right?
Renrev, help me! What the heck is she talking about?
Miss Momo is referring to turning Tarthelemew into a primary Sylvania worshipper.
Oh, I don't care about that. If you can get him, then you can take him, Momo.
Young master, shouldn't you have a little more fight in you?
Isn't it kind of embarrassing you two have had months traveling with the Harengon, and you haven't managed to convert him away from Heckma?
And based on the events of the other day, quite the opposite. He's leaning closer to her.
Momo, we also have not converted anyone in our party. Don't be so rude.
Hey, don't reveal our secrets. They don't need to know that.
You don't understand how Rabbit Man's brain works. He's all over the place. I don't think you're gonna get anywhere with him.
Ha! Watch and learn, young one, for I am the oldest and most experienced pantheonic courtesan here.
No, you're not. But I am.
You don't count. You're an immortal. You're not even supposed to be here.
Hey! What do you mean he's not supposed to be here? Yes, he is. I invited him. Wherever I go, Renrev can go.
That's sweet. Thank you, young master. But that's not what she meant.
What I mean is, he's illegal.
Momo, you can't just go calling people illegal. That's so offensive.
What stupid law says Renrev can't be here? I'll burn it to ashes.
It's technically pantheonic law, young master. Gods are forbidden from physically entering Gikarin, and their immortal right hand shall never physically leave their side for long, or in any manner that the god could not order them to return, and that be immediately remedied. This is why gods are considered more elusive and symbolic to you mortals. Gods must stick to projections, avatars, minor visages, dreams, and etc. to communicate with followers. There's more laws than that which keeps us tangled up in the Therine realm. However, Milady Dea and I found a legal loophole. Thus, voila, here I am, the first of my kind to do so. Therefore, my presence here isn't technically illegal, Miss Momo. Because if it were illegal, well, the God of Gods would have found out already.
You, sir, are playing with fire, 'cause you're a bad boy, like the ones in my books.
Miss Momo, please stop mind spamming me and please consider diversifying your reading material. And if I didn't like playing with fire, my young master and I wouldn't get along so well, now would we?
Tawiddi, is Momo to you? That Renrev is to me. When did she show up?
No, Momo to me is what Ava is to you. Momo, who was raised in Zerorix and was sent to join me after we got out of Zambia.
Oh, I almost forgot about Ava. I haven't seen her since I met you, Renrev. What's her dang problem?
That's a complicated question, young master. I suspect that Ava wasn't too pleased that I left her side to join yours, and she feels we've made a mockery of the Pantheon by choosing a child to be Dea's champion. But please don't take it personally, young master. She's not actually mad with you, but with Dea and I. You see, each avatar is imbued with an aspect that comes straight from their god's personality during inception within a mortal's womb.
For example, I am imbued with Sylvania's aspect of tenacity.
Whereas Ava is imbued with Milady Dea's aspect of bitterness. These aspects dictate the dominant direction an avatar's personality will grow. Thus, Ava is very bitter, more so than even we expected and planned for. But that's not all there is to Ava, of course. I promise you, young master, she's a remarkable young woman if you can get past her wall of bitterness. I believe someday you two will become close, as an avatar and champion should. But that will be a slow uphill climb, I suspect.
But what's even the friggin' point of an avatar?
You're asking a lot of questions today, young master. I'm pleasantly surprised at your sudden interest in divinity. There's many reasons for avatars. All the gods utilize them differently. To name just a few, the gods can live vicariously through them and sync their senses together. Sometimes the gods like to feel as if they've produced an actual child and are raising it from afar to guarantee its greatness. And avatars can act as messengers and agents within the world carrying out their gods-given will.
And we get awesome powers! Like once a day being able to stop time.
Wow! That is pretty amazing. But I bet Renrev can do cooler things.
Of course I can, but not in this restricted form, unfortunately. My capabilities are laughably pathetic when reduced this small.
I have more questions! Tawiddi, do you know why Sylvania picked you as her champion? How often do you two get to talk and hang out?
I'm not sure why Sylvania picked me of all people, but she does speak to me through my divination sticks. Or Momo passing a message along. But I always make sure to send prayers before meals and bed. And of course, thank her for our harvests and safe travels. So, I like to think our spiritual connection is very strong.
Tawiddi, that's not what I meant.
Haha, okay, this topic is boring. School's over. Let's talk about something else now.
But wait, I want to know the answer.
Young master, you do you. But I strongly suggest you should follow Miss Momo's lead and drop the subject.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone acting weird? Aren't we in an alliance?
Only to an extent. That's not the issue here, though, young master. It's just that your relationship with Milady Dea is much different than that between Tawiddi and Sylvania. You'll likely hurt the poor girl's feelings when we're supposed to have a fun day today, you know?
Oh, okay. I don't want to hurt Tawiddi, but then, do you know why Sylvania picked her Renrev?
Yes, I do, but are you sure you're alright keeping a secret from Tawiddi, young master? You're already so stressed about keeping secrets from Lux. And while there isn't any rule in place, I suspect Sylvania would be quite upset with us if Tawiddi found out the truth from Dea's court.
Yeah, I don't want either of them to get hurt, which is why I keep secrets. I still want to know.
Tawiddi and Momo chatted amongst themselves in a playful sisterly tizzy, as Renrev narrowed his mechanical little eyes more seriously, recalling old memories for his young master.
Some background context first. In recent millennia, Sylvania has lost a dramatic amount of mana supply, especially since her summoner of Action has gone missing. That makes her a ripe target for death in a similar fashion of what the mortal Wexner did to poor Lady Maestra. This circumstance has left Sylvania pretty desperate to make whatever alliances she could, but Thanatos and the Storm Twins never make alliances, and Sylvania's death would be favorable to Asmodeus, Heckma, Galos, and Wexner's goals. So that leaves only two other gods Sylvania could ask for help.
Dea and stupid Tyr?
Precisely. It's an audacious ask for a flailing, weakened god to request mana and defenses from another. Keep in mind, young master, at the end of the day, despite any alliances, we immortals are all competing against each other. So to justify an alliance with Sylvania, both Tyr and Dea required hefty costs before agreeing to ally with and sink resources into the Harvest Enchanter. Especially since Dea and Tyr fucking hate working together. Thus, Milady Deatrice's requirement was that she be the one who will choose Sylvania's champion indefinitely, for as long as the alliance remains intact.
Whoa, wait! So Sylvania didn't choose Tawiddi, but Dea did?
Yes, and Sylvania begrudges that fact. So unfortunately, she is disgusted by Tawiddi and barely acknowledges the child. To be clear, young master, no god associates with their champion like Milady Dea does with you, not in the past or present. But for our court, this cycle of the Pantheon is different.
But Tawiddi is so dedicated to Sylvania! What's Sylvania's friggin' problem? The only bad thing about Tawiddi is that she likes horses! That's it! I don't like this at all, Renrev! Poor Tawiddi. But then why did Dea pick her?
Your feelings are valid, young master. I wish this wasn't the case, and maybe someday that dynamic will change. But it's out of our hands. To be honest, if roles were reversed, Dea would likely feel the same. No one likes things forced on them for someone else's advantage, you know? But alas, that's the game we immortals play. As for how Milady Dea chose Tawiddi, she has a giant magical and customizable game die she uses to make complicated decisions. So after we picked you as champion, much to Sylvania and Tyr's grief, by the way, we shifted the odds in favor of our goals, and the die of Sylvanian followers chose Tawiddi. We don't know yet how she may uniquely be helpful to us, other than the fact clearly you two get along really well, right? And perhaps that's all there is to it.
Yeah, we do get along well. Renrev, was I also picked by the big magic die?
Yes, and how lucky we were to have rolled you, young master. Truly never would we have guessed or have been able to see from the Therine realm the hidden flame of your potential. Calling you a diamond in the rough would be an offensive understatement.
Because I'm special, right, Renrev?
That you are, young master. Time will vindicate you so long as you don't neglect your training to get stronger.
Hey, Gribble! I got a big question for you now!
Okay, what is it?
Are you aware that when you become an adult dragon, you'll have to eat about 2.3 million calories every day, which needs to be mostly meat-based? That's something like 18 medium adult humanoids every day. Or comparatively, 8 smaller horses.
I hate horses. If I need to obliterate them to stay full, then so be it.
What? Please don't obliterate the horses, Gribble. I love horses.
Okay, but back on topic. You do know that dragons have factions in their own kind of politics, right? How do you plan to earn respect from them once you're a dragon?
I'll just beat up any that mess with me.
Hello? Earth to Gribble. There's more of them than there are of you.
While we do appreciate your concern, Miss Momo, Milady Dea and I have already made arrangements so that Bakunawa, the ancient gold dragon of Mount Esperion, will take Gribble under her wing when the day comes that he fulfills his champion focus. But that's not happening anytime soon.
And how did you manage to pull that off?
Bakunawa owed us a favor and is more than happy to fulfill it in this way. I trust she will guide my young master well as he adapts to being a dragon. We're planning for the long game over here in Dea's court.
It's settled then. Now please stop trying to talk him out of being a dragon, Momo. I need Gribble to become a dragon.
What? I thought you'd be against it, girl. I was trying to help you.
Why would I be against it? How is that helpful? So long as Gribble is still Gribble on the inside, that's all that matters to me.
But wait, Tawiddi, why do you need me to become a dragon?
Tawiddi crossed her arms tightly, her head cocking sideways and eyes looking up as she reflected deep in thought while speaking.
3 reasons. Number 1, prove the haters wrong.
Yeah, I can't wait to smack Thotham with my tail.
Reason number 2, I will be unstoppable.
Of course, I'll cook anyone who messes with us, Tawiddi.
And lastly, but most importantly...
Tawiddi's posture slowly slumped as she looked down now and twiddled her fingers anxiously.
Then I wouldn't have to say goodbye so soon.
Huh, why would you say something like that?
Goblins only live till around 100, whereas gnomes, such as I, live 4 or 5 times that. Dragons, however, they can live up to 4 or 5 millenniums. So, if you become a real dragon, Gribble, then you can be here for my whole life.
But Tawiddi, 100 is still a really long time.
Maybe to you, but that's only 1/3 of my life at most. Maybe even only a quarter of it. To put it into perspective, Gribble, when you turn 25, that's around 1/4 of your life. Imagine losing people that soon. Vivi, Rixie, and Luxie are already well past the age of 25, Gribble. And on that note...
Tawiddi began to bite at her nails. This is clearly a subject she has thought a lot about.
If you're a dragon, Gribble, then Luxie Lux won't have to be alone when Vivi, Rixie, and myself pass away. Otherwise, she'll outlive all of us. By far.
What the heck, Tawiddi? You're making me cry. Why did you have to get all sad on me? I don't want to think about this stuff.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not sure why either of you are so glum. All I heard was positive things. My young master wants to be a dragon and Milady Dea can make that happen. Tawiddi, you also want Gribble to be a dragon? And Lux won't have to be alone because she'll have Gribble the dragon. So long as you all keep up with your training and survive to see it happen, it shall be done. This is all wonderful revelations, so cheer up, children, and let us have a happy day.
And how am I supposed to be happy if I don't even have a date for the wedding?
Renrev, why not just be her platonic date? There's nothing wrong with friendly dancing.
I assure you, young master, my reservations come from experience. She'll get the wrong idea.
Momo, if Renrev is your date for the wedding, then you need to be mindful of boundaries. You get too bullheaded sometimes.
Okay, fine. I just want a proper date and to not be alone.
There! It's done. You're each other's dates. Now no more sad stuff. Everything is fixed.
It seems I've somehow been overruled by children. How amusing.
Now that we're official for at least today, that means you'll be a proper gentleman, right?
And here we go.
To assure we're on the same page, Miss Momo, please specify what you mean by proper gentleman.
Well, for starters, you should be nice and considerate to me. And, if anyone gives me a hard time, you'll become possessively protective and stand up for your damsel in distress.
Most of that sounds surprisingly reasonable, but I find that last part oddly specific. Miss Momo, is there someone giving you a hard time?
Well, yeah, it's Orixian. He's getting more difficult to deal with. He hates me. I don't know what I did to piss him off, but it's starting to put a wedge between him and Tawiddi. I don't want that, but I don't know what to do.
To further clarify, Momo, is the real reason that you've messaged me over 100 times frantic the past week pushing for us to start dating? Was that actually you just wanting to ask for my help? Do I have that right?
Well, I had no other reason to justify asking. This issue isn't serious enough to invoke the Alliance terms. And outside of the Alliance, at the end of the day, we're competitors. So yeah, securing some kind of partnership seems necessary.
Good gods. Momo, I didn't leave my goddess's side and come to Gikarin to preach to the dim-witted masses and flex on some children, God chosen or not. And despite these pantheonic dynamics, that hasn't stopped you and Ava from forging a friendly bond, right?
I mean, I guess. But Ava is too busy hunting an Asmodeus piece. And since you two are beefing with each other, that makes things more difficult for me being stuck between you two.
No, it doesn't. And at least not from my side of things. Look, Momo, you mean a lot to Ava. And regardless of what she says or thinks about me, she will always be important to me. In time, I'm sure you and my young master through Tawiddi will come to care for each other too. You don't need more of a reason than that to ask my help for something like this, though I will encourage you to try and find your own solutions whenever possible, just for the love of gods. Momo, please be direct next time.
Wait, that's it? It's that simple. No blood contracts, debts, mana leeching, blackmail, or torture.
You're right to be fearful of us immortals, Momo. Your instinct is correct. But this is far from a situation where I'd be remotely tempted to use such methods. Seriously, it's no problem. I will protect you from Orixian at the wedding. And I will help you come up with an emergency plan for your day-to-day life with him. That's a rather small thing to ask.
You mean I spent all that time racking my brain trying to butter you up for no good reason? What the hell?
And firstly, you're very bad at it. Find a new niche to manipulate people with. Secondly, and I need you to take what I'm about to say very seriously, Momo. It seems your aspect of tenacity is prone to needlessly overcomplicating things just for the sake of wanting something to chase. Historically, tenacious gifted avatars have been some of the most destructive, right up there with avatars of rage. We immortals make bets whether a given tenacious avatar will burn their nation or themselves down first. This is the real reason why I outright rejected your first innocent ask last week. Implosive obsession is a frequent side effect in tenacious avatars. I wanted to cut you off before it even started, and tried to do so in a casual way that wouldn't hurt your feelings. That all being said, if you wish to rise to meet the challenge of your God-given nature, Momo, you must work on trying to tame it, or else it will consume you entirely. You need a healthy outlet. I advise making a goal list of skills you can develop, so to long-term support Tawiddi. If you can master your God-given tenacity, then very few things will be capable of standing in your way once you reach peak maturity. Sylvania, allying with the goddess of luck, gave her the confidence to have you be born. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
I guess that makes sense. But now I feel even less safe, you mortal asshole. Now I gotta worry both about Orixian and worry about blowing myself up. Are the gods seriously up there gambling on my demise?
Yes, indeed. So let that fuel your tenacity, Momo. Dedicate yourself to proving them wrong. But with that out of the way, I must say that I much prefer this more authentic side of you. I'm quite relieved we could finally be frank with each other. And alas, my dear, I suspect you wouldn't have much to worry about with Orixian today, even if I wasn't here. So try to relax. Things aren't as dire as they seem. Well, not yet anyway. But knowledge is power after all, so use it.
Game fucking on then! But wait, what makes you so sure Orixian won't come after me today?
Oh, you could call it a hunch. I won't claim to be certain, but he'll be busy with distractions today. Naturally, I have some vague sense when people are going to get, well, lucky. But even if I'm wrong, rest assured I'll be a proper gentleman and look out for you, Momo. All right?
Thank you, Renrev. I'm really sorry about all this. To make up for everything, I can put a strong good word in with Ava for you, if you want.
No worries. It was much more amusing this way. And I appreciate your offer, Momo, but don't bother. That'll just piss Ava off more. Besides, she can't avoid Gribble and I forever. He's already broken the walls of one Icy Maiden. That was the practice round. I suspect he'll do the same with Ava in time. But let us move on. We're almost at the chapel now.
The kiddo's carriage arrived, Tawiddi wild-shaped into her Lena the Hyena persona, and alongside Bunzai they endearingly raced into the chapel. And lastly, we have little Tarth and big Thotham. No guest NPCs to amuse these two, thank fucking God. Thus, the players were charged with amusing their game master, and boy, did they do an ironically fantastic job.
So, Thotham, let me pick your brain for a minute, since we're the only schmucks without dates from our group. We gotta compensate for that somehow, right? Or else everyone will outshine us and think we're pitiful.
I don't usually care about stuff like that, but we are supposed to be putting on a show.
All right, well, right off the bat, I think we need a pimp my carriages sort of entrance. I can smoke it up in here, so when we open the doors, there's just a giant pink cloud giving us a grand reveal.
Ha! I like that idea. And maybe we pair it up with a cool guy walk. Strike a pose and strut out or something like that.
Perfect, yes, we need swagger, kind of like that one song that goes, "You can tell from the way I walk, I'm a ladies' man." Shit, what was its name?
Oh, that song! It's called Stayin' Alive. That's also a fitting title for us.
Yes, thank you! Okay, we gotta be careful to not totally outclass the others. We got smoke clouds, a song to hum, strike a pose, and march in like we own the place. Fantastic work, partner. But let me pick your brain some more. What are your predictions for this wedding? I mean, you know how our luck tends to go.
For sure. Our luck often feels as if there's someone frustratingly pulling our strings. It's like we're constantly experiencing plot twists for the amusement of some mysterious asshole audience.
Oh my god, that is such an apt way to describe that. Well said. I can't help but agree. I didn't know you had a little philosopher inside you.
Probably one of the men I ate. But in all seriousness, I don't know, Tarth. I think bottom line, this wedding is definitely going to be chaotic somehow. Like there's always some kind of unforeseen bullshit that sends us on a metaphorical wild goose chase, right?
Yeah, our very first mission as a team was literally a wild ostrich chase. It feels like that's set the theme for us ever since.
Someday, I gotta assume there won't be a twist, and that in of itself will be the twist. I'm worried when that happens, we're just not going to believe it. That being said though, I am leaning optimistic that the wedding won't be like a full-out brawl, at least.
Yeah, I feel that. Unless that one gang makes an appearance. What were they called again? Not the Bleeding Silks.
Oh yeah, them. They were the Sand Stealthers. Think they might show up?
I mean, hopefully not. I lean with you that I don't think there'll be mass violence at the wedding. But if there is mass violence at the wedding, my money's on them. I've just been a little worried since you and I were kinda the front faces, taking credit against them in that interview.
Ugh. But we're in a chapel, so spilling blood in a holy place on a happy day, albeit fake, that would be an injustice. Well, except if we spilled their blood because they did it first. In that case, it's okay.
Totally. But that reminds me about a concern I've been having. I feel like I used to be more soft and grounded, more caring about preserving life, but I've been getting a lot more grisly lately. Not to pass the buck, but you and the others are kinda bad influences. I feel like I should probably be trying to hold that part of me back, but I didn't realize until recently just how exhilarating violence can be. I don't know how to feel about this other, untapped part of my nature. What do you think?
I'll admit that is kind of a concerning thing to say, considering what just happened with you the other day with Zugg'Tmoy. But aside from that, no judgment. Violence definitely gets the blood pumping. I can relate few things feel as good as gripping my hammer and swinging it down on an asshole does. But back to the wedding. I have to assume that 2 mass casualty events in one mission would feel a bit much. So I'm gonna lock my bet in that the Sand Stealthers won't make an appearance at the wedding.
I'll join you in that bet, Thotham. Either we win together or we lose together. But when, if at all, do you think they will make an appearance again?
It's hard to say. It feels like things come and smack us right in the face either far sooner than expected, or far later where we all forgot about it by that point, with very little in between, you know?
True that, brother. I sometimes wonder if it's the fact we attract chaos, or is it that the world is just really always that fucking chaotic?
While 2 things can be true at once, I strongly fucking believe it's an us thing to attract and magnify the chaos already out there.
I think that's a wise assessment. If something crazy goes down, it's at the very least karmically our fault somehow. But hey, that's why we gotta stick together. Thus begs the question, what chaos will we attract next?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
They would not have to wait long, as the Game Master now called for a DC 14 perception check, and neither player passed. Thus, a lot of time flew by without Tarth and Thotham noticing until much later that it was odd they hadn't arrived at the chapel yet. Eventually, a sense of dread started to overtake them as they snapped their carriage curtain open to inspect. They were not where they were fucking supposed to be. They weren't even in the city anymore. They were galloping aimlessly in the wild fucking desert.
Oh shit!
Tarth whipped open the small privacy screen dividing them from the carriage driver. A strong scent of urine punched him as a bump in the road made the limp cartman fall over. His wrinkled eyes were pure white and wide, with his mouth dimly agape. Unresponsive. A poison dart sticking out of his throat. Simultaneously to that, Thotham went to open the carriage door, but it was sealed firmly shut, like it had been glued with cement.
Oh fuck!
Then an ominous arm dangled down from the window, holding a sizzling bomb that was chucked into the carriage. Tarth managed to take his quarterstaff and punt the bomb back out the window. Simultaneously, Thotham succeeded his DC 18 athletics check to force the carriage door open.
Aha! Gotcha, bitch!
Tarth climbed out the window, trying to pull himself up to the top, as Thotham swung himself out the broken door, grasping at the side of the rapid carriage. The 2 Sand Stealther grunts on top of the carriage managed to barrage at them, forcing our heroes to retreat back inside. Their enemies now capitalizing on this as they tossed another bomb in. This one now inescapable. Uh-oh! Ow! Fuck! Both Tarth and Thotham now were pissed as they ascended out once again, this time Thotham successfully pulling one grunt down and throwing him behind the vehicle to thud and clamber into the distance until he poofed into a burst of sand. Tarth was failing to fend off the other grunt until his friend heroically climbed up to take his hammer, bashing it into that fucker's skull.
Yeah, that felt good.
Tarth grasped the dazed gangster and flung him off the carriage. Poof! Gone! Our 2 burnt and outfit-tattered heroes now sliding themselves safely into the carriage driver's seat, and together taming the horses back into the proper direction of the wedding ceremony. Thotham controlling the reins as Tarth picked through the carriage driver's pockets.
Damn. This guy's pocket watch says to the grandest grandpa ever, and shows an adorable family photo with 2 very small children hugging him.
Damn it. If only we noticed in time, we might have been able to save him. Just our luck, those poor kids.
There's also a recent letter and news article folded up here. It says his waiting list entry into the Zororix elderly retirement community has been withdrawn. The entire facility was just shut down. They couldn't find and afford a nurse willing to live on site, and the townsmen stirred too much public ire after our client exposed him for trying to protect the identity of Donnery, the honeypot lady. Everyone we just helped save from there has now been evicted.
Wow, fuck, I don't know what to say.
Let this be a clear sign going forward, folks. If the DM presents a moral dilemma for the party to solve, you can do what you want. But if you punt it to an NPC just to avoid tough decisions, that result will likely be worse than had the party just made the decision themselves. But don't feel discouraged by this, folks. All the DM means to communicate here is, you can't say I didn't warn you.
Personally, I love the drama. I hope they do it again. Heroic happy endings are way too cliché. Bittersweet or downright what the fuck just happened is my favorite kind of endings.
No one asked you, Renrev. But with that, our gentleman made it to the wedding, thankfully before it started, but now in a rush and left burnt and slightly disheveled shape. They are late arriving to their pre-wedding stations. After speaking with High Priestess Zainab, who is now handling the poor dead man's situation. Be warned, the cops will be on site now, folks.
Oh, how poetic. It's like that old tradition for the bride to have something blue, new, old, and borrowed at her wedding. Thotham and Tarth brought blue.
By blue, you mean the cops?
No, the dead guy. Well, maybe he better qualifies as something old.
For fuck's sake, Renrev!
Bye-bye. See you all at the wedding. I'm sure it'll be amusing.